I'm Rob from HopZine.com. Thanks for joining me for another video beer review. This time we're looking at a bottle of Dirty Bastard Scotch Style Ale from Founders Brewing Co. in Grand Rapids, Michigan, coming in at 8.5% ABV. I've had this once before, and I'm talking about years ago now, so when Founders recently started distributing to the UK, which I am absolutely over the moon about, I thought it's one of those beers that I should revisit. And also, I didn't review it that time. I shared it with a friend one night. Came round and I kind of cracked open a couple of the fancy bottles in my cupboard. Beer in the glass is a lovely kind of dark mahogany. The head off-white, kind of darkish beige. Just give it a good swirl. Yeah, with kind of like a nice kind of caramel toffee kind of tint to it. So let's stick his nose in and see what it smells like. Oh wow, that's so different. I mean, you do these reviews and you start getting one IPA, another Imperial Stout. I mean, that's what we all want. I mean, they're the exciting beers, and they're the ones where everybody tells us is good. And you get bored of the same old kind of descriptors, but this is fascinating. First, personally, I get kind of a combination of brown bread, like a blood orange, but kind of like a dryness of it, not the juiciness. Chestnuts, there's a muscovado sugar. Red apples, like stewed apples in caramel. There's a perfumed edge which reminds me of like a really horrible perfume that my mum had. It was in this really garish bottle. It had a really kind of encrusted kind of round top to it, which is a bit like a mouldy old peach in a sense. But beyond that, it's a Scotch ale. There's a big, beefy malt character to it. Chestnuts, without a doubt, kind of the sweetness of that. Brown bread. Dark treacle. There's kind of like a weird perfumey thing going on. I guess that's licorice in the back end. Licorice, the combination, the sherbet fountain. So it's the combination of licorice and sherbet. Candy sugars. What you'd expect in a Belgian beer. Not as kind of roasty as I expected. Smells fascinating, really interesting. As I said, not the kind of beer that I get to very often. Anyway, let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, could I have my body on that? Oh, it keeps coming as well. No messing about. It's horrible outside today. Torrential rain. We're towards the end of May. A couple of days. I mean, tomorrow's the last day of May. And sometimes, I mean, I always like to drink coffee beers, but sometimes you need someone what's going to come in, put a bit of a rough blanket around your shoulders, and this is what this beer is like. Good amount of sweetness, and the definitely peaty, slightly smoky notes. There's a element of coffee, but it's not. You're not getting the sweetness of coffee. It's that kind of like more harsher, burnt edge of coffee. Medium, moving towards full mouthfeel. Definitely lots of big bready notes, kind of wholemeal bread, maybe a hint of rye, kind of pumpernickel when you think about it actually. Yeah, a sweet kind of caramel, a bitterness of maybe something like, I don't know, maybe like brown malt maybe, which has got the bitterness of kind of pumpernickel. And the back end becomes mildly sweeter. Drinkable for 8.5. Once again there I'm getting the skin of a red apple and licorice. Maybe more like sarsaparilla, that kind of thing, a hint of that. but running through it, there's a bitterness of dark malts, but it's not the bitterness of like roasted barley or kind of black malt. For me, it's kind of brown malt and maybe chocolate malt, and then a slight kind of mossy kind of something very autumnal about this beer, and it feels like autumn today. Lovely stuff. Not as kind of beefy and kind of coffee as I expect from a lot of Scotch ales, but I guess this is a bit more faithful to like an 80 shilling or something like that. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. I wish. This is a challenge. If any brewers from Scotland see this, if you've got a better Scotch ale than this, send it to me. Brewdog's is really nice, but that's more on the kind of roasty side of it. But this is beautifully done, and I'd say something really authentic about it. It's come all the way from kind of near the kind of the banks of, like, well, not that close, but it's on the kind of, it's nearish Lake Michigan. So that is a bottle of, oh, well, waffling at the end, sorry. Founders Dirty Bastard Scotch Style Ale, 8.5% ABV from Grand Rapids, Michigan. There's something just a bit special about that. The one that I really want to try, and it just kind of sprung into my mind, and I beg of you, people at Founders, Backwards Bastard, I've heard that he's out of this world, and I can see that sweetness from the bourbon really adding an entirely different dimension to this beer and just making it a whole new beast. And I'm just, the idea of that is amazing. It sounds really exciting, because that's what this is kind of, I can see it, it's exciting stuff. Anyway, waffling. I'm Rob from HopZine.com. Beers like this just make me excited. I'll see you next time. Cheers.